MeMonster.
Chapter 1. Hyung, are you okay? He asked. His guts were spilling out of his side like he'd been torn open, yet he asked if I was okay. His face, pale but still calm despite being on the verge of death, annoyed me. I sat on the ground and looked up at my younger brother without saying anything. This guy had been getting in my way at every turn. He was annoyingly good at everything, so I'd heard countless times to just stay put and not drag him down. In the end, I didn't just hold him back, I ended up breaking him. They weren't wrong. But still, why are you here? Even though he'd saved me, my voice came out curt. Why did you bother coming here? Why not just let me die for my reckless behavior? We were never close. Whenever we saw each other, it was like a cold wind blew between us. When my leg was shattered, he didn't even visit me in the hospital. When I asked him to help me fix the leg that would leave me limping for life, he coldly rejected me and kicked me out. Since that day, when he threw money at me and told me to just live off that, we hadn't exchanged proper words. At my question, he gave me a bitter smile. Why did I come, you ask? Shit. Even though I thought he was being ungrateful, I couldn't help but curse. How many people rely on him, yet he risked his life to save a useless blood relative like me? Crazy bastard. Since when were we so close? If you died and made the news, damn it, I would just curse at the TV a bit and forget about it. So why the hell did you save me? I was angry at my own pathetic self, and the irritation welled up. Yeah, I'm always the useless older brother. Even in a situation like this, I'm just a piece of trash filled with childish resentment. So why couldn't you just leave me to die in some dungeon corner? Listen carefully, Young. He ignored my question and continued. Lautataris falls asleep every 5 hours. If you hide for just 1 more hour, it will go into its sleep state. That's when you can escape through the entrance. I've taken care of all the minor monsters, so as long as you don't mess with Lautataris, you'll be safe. As he said this, he handed me a small blue stone. It was a gate stone that creates an exit in a closed dungeon. It could only be used near the entrance and was a very rare item, single use and only for one person. I tried to act tough and didn't take the gate stone. Forget it, you use it. At my words, he laughed. I have my own, though I won't be needing it. Of course, the strongest hunter in Korea would have several of these precious gate stones. Reluctantly, I took the gate stone. Only then did he look away from me and focus on his own injuries. Without his skill's power, he'd have collapsed long ago from these severe wounds. You have a gate stone, but no elixir? Nope, just small potions. But they won't do much. Lautataris' claws carry a powerful curse. He laughed again. I couldn't understand how he could still laugh. But even his calm demeanor soon reached its limit. His knees buckled and his body slumped forward. Reflexively, I caught his upper body. The smell of blood, which I hadn't noticed until now, filled my nostrils. It was overwhelming. I had the urge to push his body away and run. Hey! His breath was almost imperceptible. No response. He wasn't even smiling anymore. Are you dead? My voice was trembling. It shouldn't matter to me if this bastard dies or not. Young? Are you dead? Damn it. This stupid bastard. Even if I make it out alive, all I will get is a ton of hate. People will be clamoring to burn the trash who killed his brilliant younger brother. Are you screwing with me till the end? I muttered helplessly. Even now he's still getting in my way. Now I'll have to live in hiding. This is beyond messed up. The title Nurturer activates its effect. Nurturer's supplementary skill, final recompense. All of the skills and the stats of the awakened Han Yu Hyun are transferred with double efficiency. Duration 01000. A system window confirming his death appeared. It was one of the supplementary skills of my title, where if someone I had given a growth buff to died, their skills and stats would be transferred to me for 1 hour, and even doubled. As power surged through my body, some of his memories also flooded in. My brother is an F rank awakened. This bastard, even at the end. So I shouldn't get involved with him. Yuhyun had been talking to someone. His voice sounded slightly sad. We've already drifted too far apart, but from now on, I need to keep my distance even more. Awakened ones with hunter qualifications aren't as protected by the law as ordinary people. If my brother becomes my weakness, those guys will surely target him. Who the hell are those guys? Damn it! Wipe out every last one of them. It was when my leg had been ruined. He'd been furious and sad again. No, tell him it's impossible to get healer support. It might actually be better that way. Just drive him away, and then maybe as brothers, I'll be able to help him without being too involved. Hyung, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, don't enter any more dungeons. Hyung. My brother's memories choked me. The surroundings were quiet, but his constant cries of Hyung rang painfully in my ears. The body in my arms was cold and stiff. I felt like I was losing my mind. He screwed me over till the end. Who are you to protect me? I'm the older brother. I was the one who lost our parents early, dropped out of school, and raised my younger brother. Damn it! Do you think I'll regret this? It's your fault for never saying a word. I gently laid his now cold body on the ground. His face looked peaceful, like he was the only one who'd found peace. I'm not going to cry for you. Why would I cry for a guy who acted selfishly till the end? It would be a waste of tears.
I stood up. When I checked my status window, I saw a plethora of skills that had appeared. All of them were top tier, and on top of that, they were buffed twofold. A laugh escaped me. Just 1 hour. For my brother's life, I became the strongest in the world for just 1 hour. Damn it, what am I supposed to do with just an hour? Han Yu-hyun, the Black Flame Emperor, living for another 40 or 50 years would have been far more beneficial. Even if he had become an old man, he'd still be many times stronger than me. How could a 1 hour single-use power compare to that? Stupid bastard. Damn stupid bastard. Tears pricked my eyes at how stupid my brother was. The title of genius was wasted on him. He was the stupidest guy in the world. Gigant shield. As I used the skill, a faint golden light enveloped my body. Originally, this shield couldn't withstand Lauditar's claws, but with the double buff, it could hold even if I took a direct hit. This was all yours anyway, so I'll get revenge for you. I slowly stepped out from the crack in the wall where I had been hiding. In the vast cavern ahead, a giant monster came into view. Lauditars, Rank 1 Dragonkin, the Venom and Curse Dragon King. It had appeared only twice before, and both times it was deemed impossible to defeat, with the dungeon closed by stalling for time. The red dragon with 3 heads was staring right at me. Of the 3 heads, the middle one had its eyes burned out. Despite Lauditar's incredible healing ability, it seemed it couldn't recover from the wounds inflicted by Yuhin's blood flames in such a short time. Yeah, my brother was amazing. And now, I'm twice as amazing. Shit, you're dead.
Chapter 2. With the tip of the dagger, I slashed a long cut down my forearm. The blood that oozed out gathered, transforming into a dark crimson spear. Flames so intensely black they were blinding, wrapped around the spearhead and trailed down the shaft. Brrr. Lautitars, who had always looked down on me, raised all 3 of its heads stiffly. The spikes on its back stood on end as if on high alert at the appearance of the spear that had taken its eyes. Its mouth opened wide, revealing rows of jagged teeth. If I were my usual self, I would have collapsed before even meeting its gaze, unable to withstand its sheer presence. But now, I didn't feel a shred of anxiety. I was certain. That thing was weaker than me. "You wretched lizard bastard! Come at me!" Krah! As if in response, it howled. The entire cavern trembled from the force of its killing intent. The three-headed dragon fully raised its massive crimson body. It had no wings. Instead, it was sleek like a leopard, but wrapped in layers of terrible curses. Its long, mottled tail whipped around, bristling with spikes. Boom! Its four legs pounded the ground. Claws like a grim reaper's scythe carved deep gashes into the earth. Despite its enormous size, its movements were frighteningly fast. With a single leap, it crossed half the width of the vast cavern, movements that my past self wouldn't have even registered. But now, it felt like nothing more than a puppy playfully bounding toward me. My younger brother, ranked third among the world's strongest, was one of the fastest of the top 10 rankers. If he were alone, he wouldn't have easily allowed that three-headed lizard to strike him. But right now, in this moment, I was faster than he had ever been. Thwap! With a twisted sneer, I leapt into the air. Crunch! Its claws tore through the spot where I had just been. Looking down leisurely at its futile attack, I activated another skill. Blue willow leaves. Leaves that only the caster could see scattered in the air. Using them as stepping stones, I soared even higher. Lautikars, infuriated, jumped after me, but I easily dodged its claws. The curse it shot at me like a poison dart was blocked by my shield. Thud! The lizard landed back on the ground, growling. If you're so pissed off, why don't you grow some wings? My brother didn't have a flight skill, but he used this blue willow leaves to dance in the air as if he were standing on solid ground. That bastard was good at everything. No, not everything. He couldn't cut off his useless older brother. Muttering to myself, I held the spear horizontally. Wrapping it in the flickering black flames, I pulled it back like I was drawing a bow. Swoosh! Krah! The spear shot forward, piercing Lautitar's left head. The black flame surged, and the impaled head melted away in an instant. The crazed lizard thrashed about, slashing and biting wildly, but it was far too slow. Thud! Thud! It looked like an eel flailing on land, slamming against the ground with every jump. What a pitiful sight! That bastard was laughable, but so was I. I created another spear, drawing more blood. Crunch! Grrr! I shattered its right head too. The middle head, now blind, flailed about aimlessly. The creature's scales bristled as it stopped moving and curled up tightly. It almost seemed scared. This is too easy. It even made me want to cry. Just like that, the bastard curled up and gave up. Even though burning away the last head would surely kill it, no matter how resilient a dragonkin might be, I aimed for its legs instead. Like a fish drying out on hot sand, the now helpless creature's limbs were severed, one by one, slowly, methodically. Its cries became screams, then whimpers, then the ragged breaths of something near death. The ground beneath it turned into a sludgy swamp of blood, but Lauchitar's was still alive. I crouched down on top of its limp, lifeless body. Time was almost up. Once the skill's effect ended, I'd die just from the poisonous miasma seeping out of Lautitar's corpse. What a useless guy I am. But what's the point of surviving? If word got out that Yu Yun died because of me, wouldn't I face a public execution? If they tied me up at the town square, people would flock from all over the world to throw stones at me. I'll make my way into history books. I've already been cursed at plenty, but now I'll be reviled for generations. So why the hell did you die in my place, you stupid brother? It was such a pointless thing to do. Damn it! I should have died when my leg got broken back then. Then I wouldn't have had to see all this crap, and Yu-hyun wouldn't have died. Why the hell did he have to save me when I should have been left for dead? I tapped the scales of Lautatar's as it took its final breaths. I don't think I'll last much longer either, so don't feel too bitter. Why did you come out of a D-rank dungeon anyway? Or did those management bastards mess up the measurements? Either way, it doesn't matter to me anymore. Maybe I should have just lived quietly, cheering Yu-hyun on from behind with a light stick. I should have just leeched off my brilliant younger brother and lived comfortably. But that damned inferiority complex. Just then, a reward window popped up, signaling Lautatar's complete death. An impossible achievement. You have slain a dragon alone. Yu-hyun also helped, so why does it say alone? Is it because there was a big time difference? Legendary title Dragon Slayer granted. Dragon Slayer, huh? Sounds like a title with amazing stats, but I didn't bother checking it. Who cares? No matter how you dress up a pumpkin, it's still a pumpkin. Then came the level up notifications and items started appearing one after another. Gatestone 10. Grade 1 Enchantment Fluid 5. Great Sword of the Red Dragon. Wishing Stone. Wishing Stone.
I was scrolling through the item window absent-mindedly when the wishing stone caught my eye. It was an item I'd never seen before. Just by the name, it sounds like it could grant a wish. No way. No way it could be that kind of cheat item. Even as I thought it was impossible, I sprang to my feet. Opening my inventory, I saw a small red orb, slightly smaller than my fist. Swallowing dryly, I pulled out the orb and checked its information. Wishing Stone, Mythic Rank. Grants the user one wish of their choosing. Is this for real? Then my brother! However, resurrection of the dead is not possible. You've got to be kidding me! The final note appeared belatedly. What's the point of calling it Mythic Rank if it can't even bring someone back from the dead? If it's supposed to be a god-tier item, it should be able to control life and death. Damn it! Then what good is it? Can it do anything aside from bringing someone back? All I wanted was just... I clenched the wishing stone tightly, feeling like I could crush it. A flood of possibilities filled my mind in an instant. If it could grant any wish, I could even become stronger than Yu-hyun. I could maintain my current state indefinitely. Then there'd be no more reason for anyone to hate me. People would quickly forget the old hero and start praising the new one. I could take the place I'd always envied. From an even more glorious position, I could rise higher than anyone. Caught up in the fantasy, my eyes darted around before I let out a long sigh. Yu-hyun, you're really screwing me over even to the very end. I might regret this. No, I'm almost certain I will. Then I'll just add it to the pile of regrets. My life is already coated with layer upon layer of regret. What's one more? Hey, Wishing Stone, can you turn back time? As if answering my question, the red orb began to glow. You can't bring back the dead, but you can turn back time? That seems even more impossible, doesn't it? What a joke! Then, take me back to before I entered here. No, send me back about 5 years. Let me keep my memories. This time, I'll live quietly. If I don't step forward, I won't get hated. My leg will stay fine, and Yu-hyun won't have to deal with headaches because of me. Everything will be better. I'll just live as a useless bum, leeching off my brilliant younger brother. Do you wish to turn back time? Yeah. The orb's light intensified. My vision turned bright red, then flashed to blinding white. And then, as my vision cleared, I found myself in an unfamiliar room.
Chapter 3. I found myself sitting on a bed, not on top of a dragon's corpse. The stench of blood was completely gone, and even the clothes I was wearing had changed. Did I really return to the past? It looks like I can't open the status window. No inventory either? If this is 5 years ago, then it's before I awakened. Yu-hyun was already a well-established guild leader by this time. Guild Heian, a small, elite-focused guild that quickly rose through the ranks, becoming the undisputed top guild in Korea within 5 years. Of course, I wasn't able to join. There were a lot of guild members who disliked me. I must have heard, "Stop lurking around the guild leader and get lost," about 100 times. Damn those jerks. Fine, this time I'll live quietly. I rummaged in my pockets and found my phone. The date. Oh, it's really 5 years ago. The most recent message? Wait, this is from an awakening broker? Isn't it? The content of my conversation with an awakening broker from this morning was still there. Seeing that triggered a flood of memories from the past. I've really gone back to that time. It was the 3rd year since dungeons had appeared and awakened hunters started emerging. The world had undergone rapid changes, but was slowly stabilizing. It was also a time when I was consumed by inferiority, constantly looking up at my successful younger brother, an S-rank awakened. I had foolishly believed that if I awakened, I could be like him, which led me to contact an awakening broker. An awakening broker. Simply put, a scammer. They claimed that even non-awakened people could awaken if they cleared a dungeon, taking a huge sum of money to illegally send people into dungeons. But most of them just took the money and disappeared, or if they did take people into dungeons, they offered no protection, making them some of the worst criminals around. Not that clearing a dungeon would awaken you in the first place. While it was true that the dangerous environment of a dungeon increased the likelihood of awakening, clearing it had nothing to do with it. That fact wouldn't become widely known until 6 months later, when the Korean Hunter Association established safe awakening facilities, effectively wiping out the brokers. Anyway, I had gone to meet that broker with a wad of cash. And got caught and dragged back by one of Yu-hyun's subordinates. Yeah, I remember clearly now. This is one of the guest rooms in the Heian Guild building. In a moment, Yu-hyun will probably show up with that disapproving look on his face to lecture me. Just as I thought that, the door burst open. Han Yu-hyun stepped inside. That bastard wasn't very patient. "Hyung," my living brother called out to me. His face looked so young. He wasn't that old even 5 years later, but now he seemed really young. He was 20 years old, right? Barely an adult. He would still be a student in a peaceful world, or maybe he would have just enlisted. Of course, the military still existed back then. I'm starting to feel that inferiority complex bubbling up again. Let go of your greed. Let go of your anguish. Namu Amida Butts. I got up and walked over to Yu-hyun, who had a grumpy expression. Seeing him up close made me realize how deeply 5 years had settled into him. At this time before my regression, I didn't think much of it, but looking back now, I realize how tough it must have been for him. No matter how strong he was as an S-rank awakened, building and leading his own guild couldn't have been easy. And during all of that, his one and only brother was running around causing trouble. I really messed up. Dungeon brokers? Sorry. I apologized before he could continue. Yu-hyun shut his mouth, his words cut off. He stared at me as if he was seeing a strange creature for the first time. I won't do it again? Not any of it. I'll just live quietly like I'm supposed to. Yu-hyun looked confused, then cautiously spoke. Did you do something really bad? No, nothing like that. So he doesn't trust me, huh? Can't blame him. I smiled and lightly tapped his arm. I just sat down and did some thinking, and I realized I've been pretty immature. The dragon's cold, hard shell was perfect for cooling my head. My slightly awkward words seemed to make Yu-hyun even more flustered. No, it's not like you were that immature. What do you mean, not immature? Hey, can I hug you? What? For the first time in a while. It's been a while for him, but not for me. The sensation of his body growing cold is still vivid in my hands. Do what you want. Yu-hyun hesitated, but eventually nodded. Jeez, What's so embarrassing about hugging your older brother? It's making me a little uncomfortable too, though. I reached out and hugged my younger brother, who had grown taller than me. He was smaller before he awakened. My little brother, Han Yu-hyun. His body was warm in my arms. I could hear his slightly quickened heartbeat and breathing. Overwhelmed by a deep sense of relief and something welling up inside me, I said something I normally wouldn't have ever said. I love you! Yu-hyun's body jolted. Hey, I'm embarrassed too, so don't say anything. Just wait. Awakened Han Yu-jin has been registered. What? Legendary title Perfect Nurturer has been granted. Wait! The effects of the title Perfect Nurturer have been activated. Supplementary skill of Perfect Nurturer, My Kid is the Best. The growth rate of the awakened Han Yu-hyun is doubled, duration 3 days. What? What the hell is this overpowered skill? The Nurturer title was pretty common. Anyone who raised and cared for an awakened person could get it easily. It didn't even have to be a blood relation. As long as the nurtured one's awakening rank was C or higher and the relationship was decent, the title would show up most of the time. For a C to B rank, the title would be Clumsy Nurturer. For A rank, it was Average Nurturer. And finally, for S rank, it was just Nurturer. Since there were no ranks higher than S, I thought Nurturer was the highest grade title. Perfect Nurturer? What the heck is that? And it comes with a growth rate buff of double. My old Nurturer title granted up to a 10% growth buff at best. The duration was just 1 day. But double? That means he'll reach levels in half the time it would usually take him. No, it's more about the skills. The higher the rank, the slower the skill growth. Wow, this is totally broken. If I apply this buff before entering a dungeon, he'll come out insanely stronger.
Young?
Yeah. No, it's nothing. I was so shocked that I kept hugging him. As I released him and quickly stepped back, Yu-hyun cleared his throat and his face a bit red. Even though I've been strict with you a lot. Thanks for saying that, Young. No need to thank me. Silence. Silence. An awkward silence settled between us. Just as I was about to break and throw myself out the window to escape the awkwardness, Yu-hyun spoke first. Do you want to have dinner together later? It's been a while. Sure, sounds good. Okay, I've got some work to do for now. Oh, all right, take care. Yu-hyun left, closing the door behind him. I grabbed my head, tugging at my hair. Wow, this is so awkward. What if it's like this during dinner too? Maybe I should cancel while I still can. Bam! I almost forgot. Yu-hyun, who I thought had left, opened the door again. He startled me. Delete the Awakenings broker's contact. He said, glancing at the phone on the bed. Not that it will matter. I'll make sure they can't take your calls anyway. What? Did I just imagine that he said he was going to hunt down the broker? Even after he finished speaking, Yu-hyun didn't leave but just stared at me. Is he waiting for me to delete it right now? I picked up the phone and showed him as I deleted the broker's contact information, and only then did he leave looking satisfied. Although his attitude felt a bit unsettling, what concerned me more was my status window. I hurriedly opened the status window. Awakened Han Yu-jin. Title: Dragon Slayer, L. Perfect Nurturer, L. Wait, hold on. Dragon Slayer? Why is it there?
Chapter 4.
I've gone back to the past. Doesn't that mean everything that happened before never occurred? Is it that events before I came back still have an impact on me? Is that why my Nurturer title changed too? Before checking the titles, I looked over the rest of my stats. Level 1, Health, 6, Strength, 4, Agility, 5, Willpower, 4, Magic, 2. These are the same. F-rank stats below the average of 5, except for health. The rank of an awakened stats is usually determined by their average stats, except for magic, as it's notoriously difficult to grow. While stat ranks can sometimes change as they grow, typically it's only possible to go up 1 or 2 ranks. A cat growing into a tiger just doesn't happen. Skills. Willpower up, E, increases the target's willpower by 5%. Instant effect, cannot be stacked with similar or identical skills. Duration, 30 minutes. The basic skills were also similar before. I used to have a strength buff instead of willpower, but that might have changed because the awakening situation was different this time. They're basic buff skills, and their rank is just above bottom tier at E. However, if nurtured well, they could grow to D rank, which isn't too bad. I used to have Yuhyan in my way, so I couldn't raise the rank before. Even with F rank stats, if my skills reached D rank, I could have been an E rank awakened. There were even some rare cases where F rank stats combined with powerful skills could elevate someone to B rank, though that was like 1 in 50 million. There was only one F rank awaken in the world who had become A rank due to an SS rank skill. That was Emily Spence, a saint who could heal anyone on the brink of death. Many argued she should have been S rank, but because she wasn't much of use in clearing S rank dungeons, she remained A rank. Protecting an F rank in an S rank dungeon is just too dangerous. Oh, looks like I'll be barely scraping by to qualify as a hunter again this time. There were a lot of awakened people in the world. They were already common, but half a year from now, when the Awakening Center opens, it'll be a world where everyone, from the old man next door to the kid next door, is awakened. But out of the many awakened, 999 out of 1,000 had F-rank stats and skills. In other words, they were practically ordinary people. Since F-rank skills couldn't grow, there was no way to improve their rank either. That's why a hunter's license was only issued when either the stats or skills were at least E rank. This is why there were many awakened but few hunters. Now let's check the titles. I swallowed nervously. Not A, not S, but L, legendary. And I had 2 of them. Though despite that, there's no change in my stats at all. Could it be that Dragon Slayer is a skill-related title? Titles are divided into skill titles and stat titles. Stat titles, as the name suggests, boost your stats, while skill titles come with additional skills. If Dragon Slayer were an L rank stat title, it would have boosted my stats to at least B rank. What a shame. I guess I'll just have to rely on the skills instead. Come on, give me a defensive skill, please. I prayed as I opened the information window for the Dragon Slayer title. Dragon Slayer, L. Proof of a warrior who hunted a grade 1 dragonkind, Laudataurus, alone. Title's supplementary skills. Poison resistance, L. Curse resistance, L. Fear resistance, L. Laudataurus' nemesis, SS. 4 supplementary skills right off the bat. Definitely a legendary title. Usually, S-rank titles come with 2 to 3 supplementary skills, A-rank ones with 2, and lower ranks with just 1 initial skill. Moreover, titles B and above can grow, possibly adding more supplementary skills. It looks like all the skills are related to Laudataurus. So, if I were to slay a fire dragon, I'd get fire resistance. If it was an ice dragon, I'd get freeze resistance, that sort of thing. Laudataurus was famous for poison and curses. Though I could guess what the resistance skills did, I decided to check them just in case. Poison resistance, L. Perfect immunity to all poisons below legendary rank. Curse resistance, L. Perfect immunity to all curses below legendary rank. Fear resistance, L. Nullifies all fear effects below legendary rank. These are incredibly good. No, they're overpowered. If I were an A rank or higher hunter fighting on the front lines, that is. But how am I supposed to use this? There are a few dungeons that rely more on poison or curses than physical attacks, but in most cases, physical attacks are fundamental. Even if I were immune to Laudataris's poison and curses, without agility or physical defense, I'd still be shredded by its claws. On the other hand, if an S-rank hunter had this title, they'd absolutely dominate Laudataris. This is like putting a pearl necklace on a pig. Oink oink. I sighed deeply and took another look at the status window. At least perfect nurturer should be useful.
Yeah, I decided to live quietly anyway. I should just forget about dungeons and live by casting growth buffs. Perfect nurturer, L. Proof of a nurturer who raised one of the world's greatest. The title is especially perfect since the nurturer's past abilities exceeded the nurtured's current abilities by plus 100%. What? Wait a minute, what's with this title description? The first part is the same as my old nurturer title, proof of a nurturer who raised one of the world's greatest, but the perfect nurturer title had an additional line at the end. Plus 100% of the nurtured's abilities? Does that mean the stats I received when Yuhyun died were doubled? Did that incident cause my title to become perfect nurturer? It's the past, yet the events of a vanished future are affecting the present. The thought made me uneasy. Is this okay? What if there are other side effects besides the title? But it really is worthy of being called a legendary title. The conditions to obtain it are absurdly difficult. You have to raise a world-class powerhouse, at least S-rank, and you yourself had to be twice as strong in the past. I got it because of the loophole of time regression. But to do it the regular way, someone with around SSS rank strength would have to raise an S rank. Even if the nurtured one died and you received the double buff, it wouldn't meet the condition unless it was the past. You could potentially raise another S rank afterward to meet the criteria, but how easy is that? As far as I know, I was the only one with the nurturer title for raising an S rank. Maybe there were others who kept it hidden like I did, though. So what about the skills? I wonder how they've changed. I scrolled down slightly to check the supplementary skills. My kid is the best, L. Final recompense, L. Look how talented my kid is, SS. Promising talent, S. There were 4 skills, just like with Dragon Slayer, but their ranks were lower. 2 were L rank, 1 SS rank, and 1 S rank. Though this was still impressive, it didn't quite match up to the Dragon Slayer title, even though both were L rank titles. Still, these are much more useful to me. Feeling somewhat satisfied, I opened the information window for My Kid is the Best first. The skill name is pretty cheesy. My Kid is the Best, L, increases the growth rate of a target inspired by the keyword by plus 100%. Duration, 3 days. Once a target is inspired, the skill can be used without the keyword. Cannot be stacked on the same target. Cooldown, 30 days for the same target. Keyword, I love you. With the target is aware of the keyword's effect, it will not be applied. Inspired target, 1, Yuhyun, S. Good, all good, but what the hell, what's with this keyword description? The first word was cheer up. Is it because I told Yuhyun I loved him? Did that somehow inspire him? Damn it! How am I supposed to use this? It's manageable if it's family or at worst an adult woman, but what if it's a guy or a kid? Trying to help a minor awaken could get me handcuffed. And it's not like you can just blurt out I love you to anyone. If the conditions are the same as the old skill, you'd need to spend some time with the person, listen to their concerns, and have some emotional exchange before saying the keyword at the right moment. Or you could save their life in a dire situation and confess. Confess, yeah, it's practically a confession. I guess I'll just stick to using it on Yuhyun. It's a shame, but I don't really have a choice. At least the keyword only needs to be said once when inspiring the target. Maybe, just maybe, if I meet someone really worth helping, I'll swallow my pride and use it. Wallowing in my misery, I opened the information window for the final recompense skill. Final recompense, L. When a target is inspired by the keyword, they die, you receive their skills and abilities with double efficiency. Duration, 7 days. This one's an upgraded version of my old skill Final Repayment. 2 days is a long time, but it's still a one-time use, so why is it L rank? On this one, I'm double locking down.
It's better left unused, and certainly shouldn't be revealed to anyone. Think about it. Who would want to be around someone who can take your abilities after you die? It'd make people uneasy and paranoid, thinking I'd stab them in the back to survive in a dangerous situation. That's why I kept it hidden before my regression. Moving on, I checked the "Look how talented my kid is" skill. The name is awful too. Look how talented my kid is, SS, when the target inspired by the keyword is cheered on using the keyword in front of 5 or more intelligent beings who understand it. The target's abilities and skill effects are increased by the percentage of the number of intelligent beings present, max 100%. Duration 30 minutes, cooldown 10 days. With the target or surrounding intelligent beings are aware of the keyword's effect, it will not be applied. Keyword. It's always the keyword. I carefully examined the information window, but there was no specific keyword listed, so that means this time it's a public confession. Damn it, I can't even use this on Yuhin. The skill itself is amazing, really amazing. Gather 100 spectators and you get a 2x boost. But why does it have to be a love confession? Are you trying to make me die of embarrassment? And with only 30 minutes of duration, I'd have to be right there. Now that I think about it, there's no way I could use this skill effectively anyway. My Kid is the Best lasts for 3 days, so I could cast it before Yuhin entered a dungeon. But Look How Talented My Kid Is would wear off before he even got halfway through a boss fight if I used it outside the dungeon. Plus, there are limits on how many people can enter a dungeon. This one's useless too. I really wish I could give it away. It'd be perfect for some beautiful buffer or healer with at least B-rank stats. They wouldn't feel too awkward using it either.
A skill that boosts both overall stats and skill effects by just 10% is considered A rank. That's because while there are plenty of stat-boosting skills, there are very few that increase skill effects. The usual party size limit for S-rank dungeons is around 30 people, so with a full party, that's a whopping plus 30%. It'd be a huge help in boss fights. What a waste. Right after Final Recompense, this is another skill I can't fully utilize, so it's making me sigh. The ranks are great, but most of these skills are duds. With low expectations, I checked the last skill, Promising Talent. Promising Talent, S, allows the user to check the predicted awakening rank of a non-awakened individual, optimizes the potential of the target inspired by the key word for awakening. Cooldown, 30 days for optimized awakening. What? Hold on. This is huge. Just the ability to predict someone's awakening rank is incredible. It means I could scout potential S rank or A rank awakeners in advance. But the real jackpot is the optimized awakening. Around 3 years from now, it'll be discovered that an awakened's abilities are influenced by the circumstances during their awakening. For example, someone who awakens while drowning might gain water-related skills, and someone who awakens while at risk of falling might gain flight-related skills. You could even gain plant manipulation skills while working in a field, or hypnosis skills while dealing with difficult customers at a call center. My skills and title changed when I awakened in a different situation this time too. There were even studies suggesting that the awakening rank itself could be affected by the awakening situation. It was believed that even if someone had the potential to be A rank, if the circumstances weren't favorable, they might awaken at B rank or lower. But trying to tailor the awakening situation to an individual is no easy task. Even now, and 5 years into the future, optimizing awakening conditions is impossible. But the Promising Talent skill allows for optimized awakenings. The highest rank and the best skills based on potential. It means I could pick up the best rookie once a month. Wow, this is incredible, so much so that it could be considered legendary. But it's another keyword skill. Oh, for crying out loud, seriously? Seriously? There's no way I'll still have to use it. Sniff.
Chapter 5. Since there was still plenty of time before dinner, I decided to head to the Korean Hunter Association. It's probably best to just accept being ranked as F. I plan to reveal only my basic skills and hide my titles and their supplementary skills. With F-rank stats, having L or even S-rank supplementary skills is more than just overkill. It's dangerous. Especially with skills like My Kid is the Best and Promising Talent, which can be used outside of dungeons. If I lack the ability to protect myself, I might as well be advertising "Come kidnap me" with a neon sign. All it would take is someone kidnapping me, threatening me, and using torture to force me to use my skills. If the supplementary skill had to be used during a fight, then there's at least the possibility of a you die, I die scenario, making it more practical to team up. But if it's a skill that can be used outside of combat, without any connection to fighting, there's no need for money. They can just capture me and treat me like a slave. And there have been plenty of victims who've suffered this fate. That's why I hid my nurturer title back then. If I'd revealed it to the association, I could have had my hunter rank raised immediately, but I was too scared. At the time, I believed I was on bad terms with my brother and couldn't count on his protection. What should I do this time? It might be better to come clean with Yuhin and get protection while helping with guild work using my skills. I'll exclude the Dragon Slayer title since it's hard to explain, but I'll tell him about Perfect Nurturer. Just Promising Talent alone would let me do my part as an older brother. If I recruit promising rookies left and right, not only will the guild not kick me out this time, but they might even give me a solid position. Lost in pleasant thoughts, I opened the door. And then I made eye contact. Oh. A man over 190 centimeters tall with a hulking build was leaning against the wall in the hallway, staring at me with a stern expression. A-rank awakened Kim Sung-han. He's one of Han Yu-hin's most loyal subordinates, a combat hunter specialized in defense. His loyalty to Yu-hin is so strong that he's always seen me as a thorn in his eye. Judging by his expression, that hasn't changed. But what's he doing here? Was he just passing by? No, he's standing against the wall. Hello? Kim Sung-han completely ignored my greeting. What's this about? This didn't happen before. Back then, after getting scolded by Yu-hin, I was so upset that I stormed out yelling at him not to worry about me. I just have something to take care of. Take care. I tried to walk past him. You can't leave. A deep voice stopped me in my tracks. It wasn't just his words. His hand firmly gripped my arm. The guild leader has ordered me to make sure you don't leave. What? Why? Does he think I'm going to run off to meet another awakening broker? Does my brother really not trust me? Okay, I wouldn't trust me either. I'm not going to cause any trouble. I'm just stepping out for a bit and we'll be back soon. It'll only be for an hour. But Kim Sung-han's hand didn't budge. Please return to your room. But I really just need to step out for a... As his gaze grew increasingly hostile, my voice trailed off. And then, the fear effect has been nullified. The fear resistance skill activated. But what good is it if I'm still about to get beaten up for being cocky? This is utterly useless. All right, I'll go back to my room. I shook off Kim Sung-han's hand and turned around. In front of an A rank, running was futile, and he wasn't flexible enough to be reasoned with. Maybe I should try using a skill. When I turned back toward him, his eyes narrowed. What are you looking at? That glare won't work on me. I activated Promising Talent, and a status window appeared. Awakened. Kim Sung-han. Current stat rank A. Potential stat rank A to S. Optimal initial skills. Unyielding body S. Failed to acquire. Regeneration S. Failed to acquire. Earthen Shield A. Acquired. What a waste! I almost shouted out loud. He had the potential to acquire 2 S-rank skills, and his stats could have reached S-rank too. As far as I remember, Kim Sung-han's initial skills were Earthen Shield and Stomp. Stomp is A-rank, but it wasn't his optimal skill. Wow, this is really unfortunate. Is there any way to reawaken someone? Kim Sung-han, optimize awakening.
The target is not fully inspired by the keyword. Right, the keyword. Once a target is awakened, optimized awakening is not possible. A follow-up message appeared. I guess it's impossible. Nothing I can do. With the My Kid is the Best skill, L, focused growth can be applied to acquire optimal skills that were previously failed. Whoa, you can focus growth on a single skill? This damn system never explains things properly. There's so many hidden effects that I only find out about later. Sometimes you even get skills with hidden effects without any notification at all. Anyway, this is huge. The chance to acquire an S-rank skill I missed out on before? This is amazing. Amazing. But, damn it, the keyword! I looked up at Kim Sung-han. The rugged man was giving me a look that said, "What are you still doing here? Get back inside." He was 20 centimeters taller than me with a physique that would make most gangsters instinctively call him boss. No, I can't do it. Absolutely not. I forced a smile, pretending nothing was wrong, and went back in the room. And then I screamed internally. Change the keyword. Is there no reset? Did I regress one more time? Just for one day? No, just for 1 hour. Even though I turned away, it's still a waste, a huge waste, an unbelievable waste. If we could just add one more S rank to the guild, it would be a massive help. Maybe I should explain the situation to Yoo-hyun and ask for his cooperation.
I stopped mumbling to myself as a thought occurred to me. If I explain the keyword? If I reveal the skill? A dreadful realization hit me like a brick to the back of the head. Let's calmly assess the situation. Right now, I'm being held captive, aren't I? I'm trapped. Not just by anyone, but by an A-rank awakened guarding my door. This is way over the top if it's just to stop me from running off to cause trouble. Even a C rank, no, a D rank would have been more than enough to stop me. Yoo-hyun, what the hell are you thinking? Why is he doing this? Before I regressed, he never went this far. I paced around the room before sitting on the bed. If this is all supposed to be for my protection... I remembered how Yoo-hyun made me delete the broker's contact and said he would ensure I couldn't reach them. Things have been strange since then. No matter how much weaker I am compared to him, I'm still his older brother. I'm already an adult, and if I just drop my obsession with becoming a hunter, I can live just fine on my own. And unlike before, we're getting along well now, so there's no reason to lock me up like this. And Yoo-hyun doesn't have any right or reason to confine me in the first place, does he? I racked my brain, then pulled out my phone. I'll just ask him directly. After a short ring, Yoo-hyun answered. Hey, it's nothing serious, but I was thinking of stepping out for a bit, and Kim Sung-han won't let me. He says it's on your orders. Yoo-hyun answered. Where are you planning to go? The Hunter Association. It's probably best not to mention that right now. Just home. Why home? Do I need a reason to go to my own house? I'll be back by dinner. There was a pause before his voice returned, a bit lower this time. Yoo-hyun said, That's not what Sung-han said. Huh? Yoo-hyun said, He said you promised to be back within an hour. No, that's just because he was blocking me. I was just saying I wouldn't go anywhere special. Why is he being so sensitive? The unease in my chest grew a little more. Yoo-hyun said, If you don't have any pressing matters, just stay put. You might as well move into the guild permanently. What? Yoo-hyun said, There's no need to live separately. It's not like the world is a safe place these days. Sure, there aren't any dungeons near your house, but you never know when or where one might pop up. What if it happens and explodes? What then? Well, I know it's safe for the next 5 years. Yoo-hyun said, I'll have your things moved over immediately. Moving? Hey! Yoo-hyun said, I'll be busy until dinner, so I might not be able to take any calls. If you need anything, just ask Sung-han. Wait, hold on, Yoo-hyun! He hung up. I stared at the phone, feeling both frustrated and bewildered. Is this another side effect of returning to the past?
My brother's personality seems to have changed a lot. What's with this guy? Maybe I shouldn't reveal the perfect nurturer title. If this is how he acts when he thinks I'm not awakened, who knows what he'll do if he finds out I have such useful supplementary skills. I might not even be allowed to leave the room. Not that I can right now anyway. Damn it, I'll keep things hidden for now and observe the situation. If Yuhin keeps acting strange, I'll build my own power. With the perfect nurturer title, it's possible. First, I'll track down future A to S rankers and help them awaken. It'd be best if they're on the younger side. I'll convince them that I can help them awaken, and that sounds exactly like a scammer or a human trafficker. But hey, at least I'm not taking money, and I'll actually awaken them. To make sure the awakened don't betray me, I'll have to draw up a contract. Something like, they won't reveal the awakening secret and will protect me as my hunters for 1 year. I'd love to ask for lifetime protection, but there's no contract item that can bind an S-rank awakened for that long. The longest one is only 10 years. If I gather a bunch of A to S rankers and use growth skills to keep them around, I'll have a big guild in no time. Or I could merge with high-end guild at halfway. If I bring several A to S rankers with me, Yuhin would have to acknowledge me. He wouldn't try to lock me up again, would he? Not that I'd let him, with powerful people protecting me. All right, the first awakened I'll recruit is the Ice Witch, Park Yerim, who will become an A-rank awakened 3 years from now. She's a good choice. She stood out quickly even among A ranks, so maybe she could awaken as S rank. I remember reading an interview where she mentioned losing her parents in the first dungeon shock and living with a relative who ran a barbecue restaurant near Myeongdong Station. How old is she now? 15? She's a middle schooler. I'd have to use the keyword on a middle schooler. I'm not a lolicon. I like adult women. This is just the groundwork for her awakening, that's all.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like the video. Have a suggestion? Let me know in the comments.